the guy he's been with the last year or so. But a couple of weeks ago, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers asked Lance if he would work for a couple of weeks with John Beck, a former NFL quarterback who played for Kyle Shanahan in Washington and who also works with quarterbacks coming out in the draft to prepare them for the NFL. Shanahan trusts Beck's eye and wanted Beck's opinion on Lance, and he worked with him for the last couple of weeks. The 49ers gave Beck a program of drills that they wanted Lance to work on specifically over the last couple of weeks. Drills he will do today during a workout that they have effectively designed and will administer. So the 49ers want to get as much information about Trey Lance as possible that is specific to them and what kind of quarterback he would be for them. They did a lot of similar stuff last week with Justin Fields, who also works with John Beck. And of course, we know Alabama's Mac Jones also under consideration for the 49ers at number 3. With 10 days to go, the Niners want to make sure they know as much as they possibly can about each of these 3 guys before deciding who to pick with that number 3 overall pick.
So, Dominique, the plot just thickens here. It goes from the 49ers knew exactly who they wanted, and that's why they moved up, to where suddenly they seem to be doing, I'm going to use the phrase kicking the tires, but that doesn't seem like nearly enough to explain what they're doing. How do you read this, Neek?
I mean, to be honest, it makes me think of Lloyd Christmas and Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance. I think the chance is probably pretty slim. They're probably going to go with the guy that we all thought that we all think they're going to go with, and that being Mac Jones. While I don't think that's the best choice, I think it's smart of them. It's only the responsible thing to do to proverbially kick the tires on all these potential draft picks. You want to leave no stone unturned. You want to at least give everyone an opportunity. But I think you're right to think that they're at least considering it. I don't think they would go to these lengths. They wouldn't do this travel. They wouldn't send out special coaches to do recon. They wouldn't do any of this stuff if they were sitting at number 1 and they knew they were going to get Trevor Lawrence. They're doing this because there's a possibility that they might go in a different direction, as wild as that may seem to us, considering what we've been hearing for the last few weeks.
Well, okay, so Tim, let's analyze this for a minute. Before we get into the player himself, which I think most of our audience has probably never seen, because he played at North Dakota State, and they only played 1 game this season anyway. But you know who's not at the Justin Fields Pro Day last week and is not at this Pro Day today? The Jaguars are not, because they know who they're taking. The Jets are not, because they know who they're taking. So the mere fact that the 49ers are there suggests to me that they do not definitively know who they are taking. And how do you read that, Tim, for a team that traded as much as they did to move up to number 3? Wouldn't you have assumed they would have a definitive person in mind to take there?
Absolutely. And I still think that they do. And so this, the fact that they are running around to these various pro days, I don't believe that that means they don't know who they're taking. I think that they knew exactly who they were taking when they traded up. It's part of the reason for me that, with all of the Mac Jones talk, I'm not totally sold on it because they continue to show interest. So, I think for me, when I look at this, yes, they knew. At the same time, you're spending so much money scouting. Part of the evaluation process is just important for you as you go forward. Was our evaluation of this player correct 3 years from now when you see what type of player he was? And so I think following through on it is a good idea for the Niners and really, quite honestly, any NFL team. So I think that's why they're doing it more than anything. I don't believe they're doing this because they don't know who they're going to select.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. Let me present a counter argument. Dominique, I will address this to you, okay? So if there is a restaurant that is famous for this one dish, I'm excited to go there. This is the dish I have been waiting for. Before I left my house, I knew that I was ordering this dish when I got to this restaurant. When I arrive, I'm not going to ask for a menu. I'm not going to say, show me all the other things that you have. I'm going to say, bring me that, because that's why I came here. And so I don't understand why the 49ers have to go look at the rest of the menu if they already decided what they want to order.
I think it's because people have different palates. To continue this awful analogy, I think that I am more like the 49ers because I go to the restaurant and everyone's telling me, you got to get the chicken, you got to get the chicken. I really like seafood, so I'm going to look at the menu and maybe there's some sort of lobster dish that's going to knock my socks off and I'm going to take it because that fits my system, so to speak. So I think that maybe it's possible that just because you're in this position, or you've traded up to this position, does not, in that everyone thinks that you're going in one particular direction, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look around and check and make sure that there isn't another dish out there that suits you a little bit more. So I like the idea of doing full research and checking everything out, even if you already have a strong inkling of where you're going, because you don't want to miss this opportunity. This is a heavy investment, not just that is the third overall pick, but they gave up so much to get here. So get it right. And I think that Jacksonville should be at these pro days. And I think the Jets should be at these pro days. It's only a little bit of information, but every little bit counts.
Graziano, jump in here.
Well, look, I mean, if we're going to continue on the restaurant analogy, it's more like I know what I want at this restaurant. But I'll tell you what, I called ahead to the restaurant and I said, look, there's this other dish. I don't know if you can do it, but if you can really nail it, and these are the ingredients and this is the recipe, and if you really, really nail it, I may change my mind, and I may order that special instead. So I think what we're seeing here is, look, we've heard Mac Jones to the 49ers. It may well be that that's who they're going to take. It may be that that's who they're always going to take. But they are giving Justin Fields last week and Trey Lance this week an authentic chance to change their minds if that's the case. And there is no question that even if the preference right now is Mac Jones, that Trey Lance could still show enough today to continue to be in that conversation. I mean, this assumes he's not already the guy. But if we're assuming Mac Jones, because that's all we've heard, these guys have a chance to change their minds.
Okay, there are no words to describe how strongly I disagree with this line of thinking, but it isn't me making the decision, it's them. So, Tim Hasselbeck, let's circle back to where we could have begun, which is to say, Trey Lance is having a second pro day today. The overwhelming majority of people watching us right now have never seen him play football in their lives. So let's show everybody what it is that has made so many NFL teams so excited about this quarterback.
Yeah, Greeny, the number one thing is physical ability. That's the thing that grabbed everybody's attention at first. He has a physical ability in terms of size, athleticism, arm strength, accuracy, natural throwing motion that's appealing to anybody that watches him. So when he throws at a pro day or he's competing at North Dakota State, it's going to be impressive. The next thing off of that is that when they've talked football with him, they've been impressed. And so what people are looking at is saying, look, this guy has played at a low level of competition, but look at some other guys that maybe played at a low level competition or kind of were raw and unrefined. How about Josh Allen when he was coming out of Wyoming? You know, was he as accurate as everyone wanted him to be? No, he wasn't, but he would make plays like this one you're about to see against Nebraska, where like you can't get it out of your mind because people can't make that throw. Even guys that are ranked, are highly rated prospects can't make throws like that. No different than Patrick Mahomes. When he's running around at Texas Tech, making bad decisions, there are still some of those throws that he would make where you go, well, wait a minute. Even the guys that have had success in the NFL, they weren't doing those types of things. I think people see those types of traits in Trey Lance, and they really feel like, look, if we can kind of polish him up a little bit. Yes, he doesn't have a ton of experience, but if we can coach him up, have him in our system, then he can be a star because his physical tools really look like they're going to be better than most quarterbacks in the National Football League.
This, Dominique, is why I've been saying, well, why are you shaking your head like that, first of all?
Oh, because what I just saw out of Patrick Mahomes is mind-bending. Like, who was that dude dressed up like Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech? Because that's not the guy that we've seen in the league.
That's the point. That was Mahomes, in case it wasn't clear. The first one was Allen. The second one was Mahomes. But, Nick, here's the point. This is why I've been saying all along that the 49ers are in the perfect position, if they choose to go the Mahomes method, which is they've got Jimmy Garoppolo. He's more than suitable. In fact, history shows that when he's healthy, they win every game he plays practically. So you keep him in there while you draft this young, raw, developmental guy in Trey Lance. You bring him along at whatever speed makes sense for him and for them. And when it's time, he gets the job.